Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. I want to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big, and it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today.
My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
Good morning, everybody. This is Barbara J. Beckley, and I welcome you to the Coaches Lounge with Barbara J. Beckley and a lot of wonderful coaches, consultants, educators. When I first created this show, I told myself, I said, I don't really see a lot of shows, talk shows that really get and dive deep and give a spotlight to coaches and educators and consultants. And they're the ones that should be really getting the spotlight because they're the ones that are helping people get from one extreme to the next in their lives. They're the ones that are walking through as, being patient, giving those extra pushes, giving those extra encouragements. They're the ones that are saying, you can do it when you think in your mind that you can't. So I wanted to make sure that I would give these wonderful, I call them world changers in people's lives. Because when you think about it, Oprah has a coach, Barbara Walters has a coach. They all have coaches and more than one. People always tell me, they said, Barbara, if you're trying to get to that, you're moving to the next level, you're going to need some coaches. You need business coaches, speaker coaches, mental health coaches, especially nowadays. That's going on. So I really wanted to make sure that I did something here under the Diamond Factor experience that could help you look at certain coaches and say to yourself, I listen to that particular person and I think I might need their help. Or it seems like there's something that they can help me with to move to the next level in my life. So I bring these wonderful coaches on so you can get to meet them, build that quick relationship. And then, as I always say, contact them if you need them. Send them to somebody if you know somebody that needs them. And I always put that shout out even before I introduce them because they're taking their time out to come here to the show to tell you what they're about. So please just reach out to them. So I have some wonderful, wonderful 2 coaches today that's changing the world. It's funny because usually I have a mixture of men and women, but today I have 2 men. So I'm very, 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 usually I call the women queens, right? Well, you know what? I'm changing the role today. I got the kings on, the great kings today that's going to be telling us some really important things. So you know what I want to tell you? Get your pen, get your piece of paper out, start writing those notes because you're going to need them. It's going to be amazing. So the first wonderful king that we have that we're coming on, and I just want to because see, one thing about it, I don't bring my guest on, just say, voila, they're on the screen. No, I bring them on because they're royalty. Yes. They are royalty because, again, they're coming in people's lives and helping them. So Mr. Joseph Gampapa, and if I said it wrong, Mr. Joseph, please forgive me, just to my heart, not my head. And I always tell people, correct me when you get up here because I want to make sure your name is correct. But he is basically a self-empowerment educator, author, speaker. He's a celebrity. Let's just say that. He's a celebrity in his own right. He's helping people make sure that they understand who they are and why they're on this earth and why they do have a purpose. Sounds familiar, right? You know why it sounds familiar? Because it seemed like me and him already sync because that's what I talk about too. So that's why I'm really excited about this because I believe in what he's saying and I can really understand this conversation. But before we bring on Mr. King Joseph, let me make sure I do this the right way. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Barbara. Good talking with you. I love your kind words. I've never been a king before, but thank you. Awesome.
Well, wear your crown proud because you are.
You're awesome. Thank you.
So thank you for coming. Like I always said before we start the conversation, you took your time out to come on the show, and I thank you. If you nothing else, you are, basically helping me because you're giving me a gift today. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So let's start off. First of all, did I say your last name right?
Well, it's a soft G. It's Giampapa.
Giampapa. Okay. Yeah. That makes it easier for me. Giampapa, like it. Mr. Giampapa. Okay, Joseph. So now because like I said, the show is really about really making sure that we're talking to the educators, to the coaches, to consultants, people that are really being a force of nature in somebody's life, getting them to the next level. So before we kind of get into what you do, because you do so much amazing things, can you tell us at the beginning, where did you start? When did Joseph say to himself, I really want to be this person that's going to really just help people in their life, especially with self-empowerment?
Well, I grew up in a big Italian family, kind of near the south side of Chicago, in a tough town. I grew up in Cicero, Al Capone's town. And, so many people in those days, and now much, much more so, have kind of just given up on life. They feel like they're victims of society, victims on a daily basis. And, nothing could be further from the truth. When you fall down, you got to get up again. Nobody's going to help you. My mother had a great saying. She said, you'll always find a helping hand at the end of your own arm.
I love it.
Yeah, so I started helping friends and things like that, telling people, you're not a victim. You have all this power and everything. And then as I came out west here, I live in Reno, Nevada. I finished my degrees out here. I became an educator and I started working with at-risk kids and then abused women, drug recoveries, and everything else. And they all seemed to come from the same place. They all were so down on themselves and giving up and feeling powerless. And that's so sad because we have all this incredible potential inside of us. And we're such a gift to this world, so I just felt almost like it was my obligation to help people realize what they're all about and everything. And so I started out working with people in that regard, trying to bring out the potentiality of each and every one of us.
Yeah, I feel you on that, Joseph, because I myself, because I mean, I basically help a lot of women in business. And the one thing I talk about is purpose. One purpose is a purpose coach of visibility and social media. And when I talk about purpose, I say, everybody has a special gift. But a lot of times we don't bring it out because, like you said, all the other things around us start attacking it. Either people saying that you can't do it or you feel you're kind of self-sabotage yourself. So I totally get it and especially now, it's like a lot of people are down themselves even more lately. Have you noticed that?
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. Exactly. It's really sad. You hear it in the supermarkets, wherever you go. Everybody's saying things like, what's the point? What's the use? I'm ineffective. And you think, wow, you are so, so wrong. We need to start reintroducing people to their own power. We need to introduce people to who they are. Nelson Mandela, in his inaugural speech, he got it from I forgot where he grabbed it from, but he said, our greatest fear is not that we're ineffective, but that we're more powerful than we can ever imagine. He kind of hit the nail on the head because we have all of this incredible potentiality inside of us. And unless we bring it out, it's just wasted, basically. Zig Ziglar, the great motivator, he said, it's so sad that so many people go to their graves with their songs unsung.
I know.
What a waste of talent. What a waste of skills. All of this stuff. So I hopefully, can help people to bring out this inner stuff, to tap in to their inner power. And we all have that. There's no such thing as an insignificant human being. It simply doesn't exist. Because there never was another person like you on the face of this earth, and there never will be again. And that doesn't make you weird. It makes you incredibly powerful. And that's what we need to introduce to people. Each of us is a true, true gift to this planet. And if we could bring that out and share, what a wonderful world we'd have. It would be wonderful. The Dalai Lama, he said, we don't need a lot more money makers or anything. He said, what this planet needs are more peacemakers, more healers, more restorers and storytellers, more lovers. This is what we need. And now more than ever, people need to start bringing out their inner power.
Yes. You said it so well. You are so right. I want to go back real quickly because you mentioned Chicago. So I am from Chicago too.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I was like, oh, we got a Chicagoan in the house.
Yeah, cool.
So I know the area that you were talking about. It's about Cicero. So I totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah.
So welcome to Chicagoans. I'm in Wisconsin right now. So it's funny because one thing about it, we can live other places, but where we really came from, we always gonna, give that, like I said, that little status to say, hey, we grew up in that area. So
yeah, it helped us become what we are and who we are.
Yeah.
The environment you grow up in. I learned so much growing up in those areas. Yeah.
But now, Joseph, I'm going to ask you now, because I know that, like you said, you deal with people with their self-empowerment, introducing themselves. I like how you say you introduce the individual to themselves. Now, can you give us just a little snippet of how you derive, how you get to that point with a person? Because, if a person comes, you say, you know what, Joseph, I just don't believe in myself. What can I do?
The key thing is, first of all, we have to understand that I blame so much on society. Society basically tries to keep us down. Madison Avenue, especially, if we feel inadequate and everything, they could sell us more products. We're forever trying to be like him or be like her. And the true fact is we could never be like him or her because we're not. We're ourselves. We're unique. We're totally one of a kind. And so people need to start realizing that they are completely unlike him or her. And so stop trying, relish who you are, and take pride in who and what you are. Start tapping into that stuff. It's really interesting. I tell people, you came into this world basically a winner. So I heard a guy one time, he talked about, in biology and stuff, science 101 or whatever, we have, all this sperm racing towards this one little egg. You got a gazillion sperm racing towards a little egg, and finally one comes through and connects with the egg, and boom, out come you. So I tell people, you came into this world a winner. That one sperm connected with the egg and you came out. If it was a different sperm, it would have been a different person. But it wasn't. It was you. So you came into this world a winner already. There's so many neat things I talk about on my website. The walking, to me, that blows my mind. A little, when we were little, we had a little head, a little bitty kid and everything, little brain. We don't have the magnificent brain we got now or anything. But we looked around, we saw people walking. We thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I think I'll try that. We got up, we fell down, we got up, we hit our chin, we got up, skinned our knee, fell down. Did we give up? No. Every one of us kept going until one day, whoa, we started to walk. And I think that's phenomenal because we just did it, because we saw it, we liked it, and we did it. I lecture to groups, 500, 1,000 people in an auditorium. Afterwards, they come up to talk to me and everything. I've never had a single person crawl up to me and touch my leg and say, how you doing? And I say, what are you doing down there? Oh, I don't do that walking thing. I tried it once. I fell down. I don't like it. I didn't. No, literally every one of us saw other people walking. We liked it and we did it. We still have that inside of us, but somehow we squashed it. It's kind of dead. I tell people we got to relive that, bring that out again, revitalize that, because we can do anything we put our mind to. Change your thinking, you change your life.
Yes. And I love what you had the example about us when we're children, or when we were younger, and then when we get older and stuff. It seemed like we need to go back and take some of those characteristics we were when we were younger about, like I look at probably being like curious. As kids we were curious. As kids we would, like you said, we would do and then you see somebody else walking or whatever, and we would just go and try to do the same thing they're doing. And next, we're walking. And it seemed like it seems like we get older, we take a step back from all that.
Oh, exactly. And, unfortunately, people nowadays, that they try to venture out a little bit or something, they fall on their face, they give up. Boom. What's the point? I hurt myself. I tried it. I don't like it. But they have to realize that when you bring these potentials out, these talents, these skills, you're not going to come out and be an instant success. You have to, nurture it a little bit, temper it a little bit. I use the example, we're both from Chicago. In Chicago, horse racing was real big when I was a kid. And there was a jockey there, Eddie Arcaro. He's the world's leading purse winner, was the world's leading purse winner, won more money than any other jockey, blah, blah, blah. But what people don't know is Eddie Arcaro lost his first 45 races. Now that's 45 races in a row this guy lost, yet he kept going, And it's interesting. I often say, what was going through that guy's mind when he got on the horse the 46th time? Who would give this guy a horse the 46th time? And, well, Eddie, have you ever won a race? Well, no, I haven't. But he knew there was something inside of him that would make him a great jockey. So he stuck with it. And sure enough, that 46th time, bada boom, bada bing, he won the race. And from then on, as they say, the rest is history. He became the world's greatest leading jockey. But he lost his first 45 races. So the thing is not to give up. I could tell you a story about a guy that went in the Army, a lieutenant, and he came out a private. He opened 3 businesses and he failed at every single business. Then he decided to run for local politics, failed completely. Then he decided to run for president. Abraham Lincoln. You know,
Mm.
if you read this guy's life halfway through, you'd say, what a loser. But something inside of him told him he had something to share with the world. And so he kept going. And that's the key. You gotta keep going. Now, we talk about Eddie Arcaro. He lost his first 45 races. What have you ever done 45 times and kept going? Probably nothing. We go try bowling once or twice. Well, I guess I stink at bowling. You go try golf once or twice. Well, I guess golf is not for me. No, the key is to stick with it. And sure enough, you're going to hit a success. And that's what people have to understand. I once tracked down, I was contracted by a company one time to check out successful people, whether they be actors or millionaires, CEOs, or whatever, and to look for the common strain in all these people that made them successful. And it was interesting because I really took it with a lot of zeal because I was curious myself, And I found the common things like they had the stick to itness and positive attitude and stuff like that. But there was one thing that really stuck out with every single successful person I found. That was fascinating. What do you think it was?
I'm thinking perseverance.
Sure, all those things were there, but not what it was failure. Every one of these people had a string of failures before they became a success. Not a failure here and a failure there, but a string of failures. Like I just mentioned, Eddie Arcaro, Abraham Lincoln. But they kept going anyway, and that's the key. The only time you fail is when you give up. People don't understand that. You have to keep going. I tell people, I'm in Nevada here, which is a gambling state. So we'll use the analogy. Let's take you got a silver dollar in your hand. You throw it up in the air, you catch it, you put it on, and wow, it's heads. Cool. Okay. You take it, you throw it up in the air, catch it again, put it on there. Son of a gun, it's heads again. Now the third time you pick it up, you throw it up, you catch it, put it on there, and mamma mia, it's heads again the third time. Now, you're going to throw the coin up in the air and catch it again. What are the odds of it coming up tails? Still 50-50. But you absolutely know sooner or later, tails is going to come up as long as you keep trying. And that's how it is with you. You keep going, you fall on your face. It's a negative. You fall down, you fail. As long as you keep going, you're going to hit a success sooner or later. The key is to keep going. Yeah.
Wow. That is so powerful. That's why I said if no one else is learning this, I know this is a gift for me. Keep going. I mean, the biggest thing you said, failure. See, I never thought about that, but you're right. Everybody that's became a success in their life, they failed so many times, but they kept getting up and they said, you know what? I want to keep on pushing. I'm going to keep on striving.
Exactly. We talk about Babe Ruth, the baseball player, greatest hitter of all time, more home runs and blah, 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 blah. But what people don't know is Babe Ruth also holds the strikeout record. He struck out more than any player in baseball history, and he holds the record for it. But nobody even talks about that he was a strikeout king because of all his home runs. So failure is part of success. But unfortunately, it scares people. They fail once or twice and they give up. What's the point? I don't do good at this. I failed. I fell. No, you've got to keep going because sooner or later, you're going to hit that success.
Yes. And you just got to keep. And I think another thing, you got to keep believing in it, right? You got to keep believing on where you're trying to go.
Exactly. You have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's very important. And, it doesn't, each one of us is prepackaged. We come into this world of success waiting to happen. And, as Zig Ziglar said, it's so sad that so many people go to their graves with their songs unsung. A lot of people are afraid to bring that stuff out. They're afraid to try because they're afraid of failure. But failure is part of success. We have to understand we're going to encounter failure, and that's good in a way. I used to have a professor that says, why not go out on a limb? That's where the fruit is. Makes sense. We have to take it as part of the package. Failure is part of the package. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't know about this and I don't know about, you don't have to know everything in order to try and do things. Sometimes it's better actually not to know something. For example, and I'm going to put myself on the line here a little bit because I'm one of the old guys, but in my day, when I was a kid, I used to love to run. And in those days, the 4-minute mile hadn't been broken yet. And I remember I used to ask my coach and my PE teacher, I'd say, hey, coach, you think someday somebody's going to break the 4-minute mile? And he said, forget it, Papa, it can't be done. I said, why? Well, a human can't run that fast. A cheetah can do it, maybe a jaguar, yeah, but a human being, okay, can't do it. And it still bothered me, so I'd ask him again a couple of days later, hey, coach, why can't the human run that? What are you talking about? I told you he can't run that fast. Why not? What would happen if he did? I don't know. His eyes would fall out. He'd blow up or something. Who knows? His gizzard would break, whatever. I don't know. So I just assumed he couldn't, a person couldn't do it. Along in 1954 comes a guy by the name of Roger Bannister. Somebody forgot to tell this guy it was impossible. He just loved to run. He goes running along, all of a sudden, bada boom, bada bing. He broke the 4-minute mile. Wow. Everybody was shocked. It made news all over the place. Roger Bannister breaks the 4-minute mile and everything. Up until 1954, no one did it because we were told we couldn't do it. But now Roger Bannister did it. What's really neat, Barbara? The following year, 37 people broke the 4-minute mile because now they knew they could. And the following year, 300 people broke the 4-minute mile because now they knew it was humanly possible. Up until then, we were told, nope, humans can't run that fast. So nobody did it.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting because, see, this is, again, the talk saying, well, no, you can't do it. No one ever did it before. What are you thinking? How can you think you can do that? And then in your mind, you're like, well, they said I really couldn't do it. So why should I even try?
Exactly. I had a private practice for 10 years helping people reprogram their subconscious because the subconscious is the programming aspect of our being. Whatever's in our subconscious, that's what we become. So change your programming, you change your life. So it's really interesting because I was going to finish my doctorate at the time, and I started doing a lot of research, and I found out that the Russians during the Cold War were way ahead of us in mind control and everything. And thank goodness when the Cold War ended, the Russians shared all their information with us. And what they found out, and this is phenomenal, it should have been on the front page of every newspaper in America, but it wasn't. They found out that when we're born, we come in with a matched set. Our voice is tied directly to our subconscious. Whatever we say with our mouth goes in our ear and programs us. Now, this is incredible. Now, we also found out that no two people on the face of the earth have the same voice, which is interesting. They may sound the same to other people and everything, but technically to an audiologist and everything, every voice is unique. So in other words, somebody can record you saying, pick up the book. And he records it and then he mixes it with, let's say, 499 other voices that to everybody else sound just like you. And he can scramble them, and you could sit there and listen to all of them. But the moment you hear your particular voice, you're going to perk up because your subconscious can grab onto it. Okay. So it's very important. I tell people, be very careful of what you say with your mouth because it goes in your ear and programs you. And now here's the scary thing. What people don't realize, the subconscious has no thinking or reasoning factor to it. It can't think. So whatever goes in, it programs. It doesn't know whether it's a joke. It doesn't know if it's a lie. It doesn't know if it's a reality or not. Whatever it hears, it programs. So if you say things like, Oh, I'm such a klutz. I could walk down the street and fall over my own 2 feet. Okay, you're a klutz. And before you know it, we become what we say, even if we were joking. So we have to watch what we say. So what I used to do with my people, I would first put them through an assessment, find out where their weak spots were, what they were, worried about, and things like that. And I'd rewrite a script based on positive affirmations. And I would go through a whole litany, the whole big script specifically for them. Then I would bring them in. And in those days, we used the cassettes. Remember the little cassettes?
Yes.
I'd hook them up to a recorder, and they would, with their own voice, say the affirmations over and over and over again into a recorder. Then they would make a cassette, and I would tell them to take it home, and you have to listen to it every day, at least once, for 30 days in order to build
that.
When we get a thought, it creates a synapse. But when you do it over and over and over again, it hardwires that thought. And so 30 days, the Russians say 21 days. I used to tell my people 30 days just to ensure it. 30 days to hardwire that particular new affirmation. Okay? And it really works. Now, the key is, though, you have to do it for 30 continuous days. You can't do it for 17 days and then forget and then say, well, I'll do it twice tomorrow. It doesn't work that way because it's like a chain. If you take one of the links out, the chain's going to break.
Yes.
It has to be a continuum. But it is amazing, Barbara, the success that a lot of my clients had by doing these recordings. Absolutely phenomenal. I saw people get off drugs. I saw people lose phenomenal amounts of weight. I saw people change their lifestyles. And it's all by changing your subconscious. Change your thinking, change your life.
Wow. Wow. Usually when you can't say nothing, you just have to just be in awe and just take it in. So I want the audience that's watching, everybody that's out there, see this King Joseph that gave you some golden nuggets. Now, can you just see that will blow your mind to work with him? Yes.
Thank you. You're awesome.
Yes. So Joseph, because of timing, I wanted to give you 30 seconds. I want to take myself down for 30 seconds. And I just want you to leave any last things that you want the audience to hear that you have to say. And I'll be right back.
Well, to be honest, I wrote 3 books and they're guidebooks to help people on a daily basis get through life and make their life much happier and much more enjoyable. So the books are basically a coach in absentia, so they can just use. I've known people, they say, I keep the book on the front seat of my car and stuff and just turn to it and stuff. So if they go to whatiwillican.com, they can get access to the books, and I even have them out on a discount. whatiwillican.com. And that way they can get access to the books, and they can also find out ways to contact me. Okay.
Now, Joseph, I was going to ask you, because I'm putting down, I think it's your website. Is that correct? Can they get the book there too?
I can't see. Yes, josephgmpapa.com also. Yes, that's I talk about my lectures and things there and my coaching, stuff like that. So that's it. josephgmpapa.com is for all of that kind of thing. If they want to get my book specific, they could go to whatiwillican.com. Okay. So there's both websites, either one. Okay. And they're pretty, and they'll join together. So one will send them to the other one. So, they can get access to both.
No problem. So I'm going to take myself down for 30 seconds. Give some lasting thoughts.
Well, lasting thoughts from me. I would just say, don't forget that you are a gift to this world. Very important.
You know what? Like I say, less is more. So people will remember that when you, like you said, don't forget that you're a gift to this world. And King Joseph, I always tell people the same thing. Like you just said, don't forget that, because you were already, I love what you said, you were already a winner before you came into this world. So with that said, so now, Joseph, I thank you again for coming on the show.
Oh, it was an honor.
You're always welcome back. Anytime if you're doing something new in your world, you want to come back and talk about it, we're here to support you in every type of way.
Always happy to talk to a fellow Chicagoan.
Yeah. Love it. I love it.
Thank you, Barb. You take care. It was an honor.
Okay, you too. Wow, wow, wow. See, this is what I love bringing on these coaches and these authors. King Joseph, he gave some golden nuggets. If you didn't write it down, if you didn't have a pencil, people, I always say pencil. I'm like, we don't do pencils no more, do we? If you didn't have a pen and a piece of paper, then something is wrong here. Something is wrong right here. So hopefully you look at the replay if you weren't here live. I seen some people that was coming and commenting. Thank you so much, King Joseph. Thank you for coming on the show. Again, you are always welcome to come to the Coaches Lounge anytime. And that's what I'm about. I always tell people, the biggest thing I do, I love visibility, and I love helping people get that visibility in their lives because, again, they're helping people move to that next level in their lives. So we have to honor these coaches. We have to honor these consultants. We have to honor these educators because they're just doing so much. I know if I didn't have the people in my life, like King Joseph and a lot of the people that come in my life, I'd be like, just like how he was saying, like, I don't know, maybe I can't do this. But you have people come and say, no, you can. Stop that. Stop talking. Stop that. You're self-sabotaging yourself. So that's what you do. So King Joseph, thank you so much again for coming on the show. Now I told you, I got two kings today, King Joseph, and now we're going to bring King Martin in so he can give us some golden nuggets. See, I'm loving this show. This is like a special show for me. If no one else is getting none out of this, I know I am. I'm being a little selfish here. Yes, I'm being a little selfish. But again, before we bring in what I said, we got to do it the right way. So I want to make sure, let's just see this. Yeah, he is in the, I always got to check if they're in the virtual room, and it looks like he's ready. He's there waiting. And I got to bring him the right way. Got to bring him the right way. So let me just, technology is my friend, but not right this second, but it's getting there. Okay. So Mr. Martin Sharp, oh my God. He is a award-winning international consultant, coach, speaker, and author. At the age of 43, his working lifestyle led him to weigh 154 kg, 340 pounds with a 5'4", 137 cm waist. But by the age of 45, he weighed just 94 kilograms, 207 pounds with a 32, 81 centimeter waist. And I probably said that. I hope I didn't screw that totally up. Now specialized in transforming busy and overweight business owners and consultants to become fitter, happier, and more confident. Is this a person that you might want to talk to? Is this a person that needs to come in your life? I know he needs to come in mine, especially when he's talking about weight. So with that, we're going to bring him on. But like I said, we got to do it the right way. So I'll be right back. Welcome, Mr. King Martin Sharp. How are we doing this morning?
Hello, Barbara. I'm doing really well. Thank you very much.
Now, is it morning where you are? Because I just want to make sure. I think it's maybe a different time zone. Oh, no.
Yeah, we're mid-afternoon here. So,
Okay.
yeah, in a rather cloudy, but warm sky in York, in England.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes. Okay, I had to say this real quickly, King Martin. This is global. We're global. Okay, that made me feel good. I love when I bring the global kings and queens on the show. So thank you so much. So before we even start, Martin, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. This is a gift, not just for people that are watching, but it's a gift for me. Like I said, I'm a little selfish here. I'm going to just say it. I want to bring the people on, especially the coaches and consultants, and like I said, educators. And this show, I said earlier, that I really wanted to make this show more about you, what you do, how you change people's lives. Because it's one thing to say, okay, I'm a speaker, I'm a good author and everything, but it took someone to get them to that road. And I think we need to get a bigger spotlight on the individuals that do that. So you are one of those spotlight that we want to give today. So, Mark, I want to start before we start, because I always say that, we always start somewhere in life before we become this amazing celebrity of a coach and what you do, or something. There was a story behind it or something that led you. So I want to kind of just open the curtains from you, and just can you give us a little bit of background on how you got to the point where you are now?
Yeah, sure. I think probably best to take you back to December 2014. It's probably a bit of a pivotal time for me. I was just in the middle of doing a $16 billion asset transfer between two global giants, working with guys over in Europe, guys over in the States. And it's just a normal average day for me. But I took some time out of that to take my family away on holiday, including my mum. Now, my mum's an amazing lady, and she was divorced with me, my brother, and at the time we didn't have a lot of money or anything. But one thing she always wanted to do, she wanted to take us to Disneyland. That was one of her dreams, and she could never do it. She could never afford it, and it was one of those things that didn't happen. So once my business was kind of working okay, I thought, let's do this. Let's take her over and enjoy that experience with her grandchildren. So that was it. The whole family kind of upped from England all the way over to Florida. We had 3 weeks in Florida. It was an amazing experience. We went to like Clearwater. We did the whole Kennedy Space thing. Obviously did the Disney parks and stuff. And while there, we went to go on the Incredible Hulk ride. So I had my two youngest children with me. I've got an 8-year-old bouncing on one arm and a 4-year-old bouncing on the other one. Really excited. It's like, Dad, is it going to be fast? Is it going to be exciting? And Dad, is it going to be scary? You can imagine the time. It was fabulous, and especially in December. I mean, York in December is cold. Yes. It's dark. It's dismal. Florida in December is fabulous. I love it. I think I'd have to move there.
Different. Difference. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So we kind of stood there, beautiful sunshine, just waiting to go on the ride. And as we get to the front, the officials, the guys that are kind of running the rides and things, he's kind of got a green uniform and stuff, and he just says, "I'm sorry, sir, but you can't go in this car. But I've got a special car that's just for you." I was like, "Okay, what's that all about?" So kind of stood at the side with my kids, and we're just waiting. Obviously, the next car comes past, and he goes, "Oh, you can come in this one," and he gets me to sit in a car for bigger people. Let's be polite about it. So I was kind of sat there thinking, okay, and I'm trying to get the restraints down, and I couldn't physically get the restraints over myself. It just didn't work. And it was like, what do you do now? I've got my kids that are willing to go. Now, thankfully, a friend of mine came with us as well. I don't know, we seem to be a big family. Anyway, a friend came with us, Andy, and he said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take them on, get it all sorted." So the kids enjoyed the ride, and I kind of just at the side, kind of mortified, to be honest with you. And the thing was, I wish I could say that was the only time that happened while we were there, but there was probably, I don't know, easily a dozen more rides over the various different theme parks. I just couldn't take them on because I was just too big to fit in the seats. And then, you kind of got you might do the same thing when you're there. You take lots of photographs and you kind of enjoying the moment and things. And then when we got back on the evening, we looked through some of the photos and just remembering how amazing it was throughout the day. And one of the photos my mum had taken, there was basically I was sat next to my wife on the monorail that goes to the Magical Kingdom, and my boobs were bigger than my wife's boobs. Yeah, and I was kind of thinking, how do I get to this position? Yeah, because if you only round the clock back, 5-7 years, I was doing things like doing canoe slalom, I was cycling loads, etc. And I kind of realised it's because I was putting a lot of the stuff. I was doing business stuff all the time. I was so busy with business. And then when I wasn't doing that, I was busy with my family or with friends and things, which really kind of put me at the back of the list. But we got back off that holiday, and I just said to my wife, Sarah, I'm going to change. I need to change. This can't go on. So I did like everyone does. It's almost like that New Year's resolution, isn't it? The first thing you do, you go down the gym, you get some gym membership. You download the diet plan, you get MyFitnessPal on the gadget or something. I even hired a PT. It was a lovely lady called Kez. She was like a dynamo. You'd go in there, an hour later, you'd come out absolutely dripping in sweat, feeling like you'd died at least 3 times. And I did that for a bit, and found things weren't really changing. So I thought, okay, well, let's try some other bits. So I tried different diets. I tried things like Weight Watchers diet and South Beach diet and Atkins and all sorts of things like that. And I thought maybe it's different exercise I need. So I joined a karate club local with my daughter. My daughter loved it. She got to beat me up lots of times. I think she thought it was great.
I can beat up Dad.
And when I was down in London, for example, I used to go to a friend's kickboxing club, but he used to do, so that was quite good fun. And I even tried things like fat burning coffee. I mean, who on earth thinks fat burning coffee is going to work? I mean, you got to be pretty desperate when you get to that kind of level. But the thing is, none of it really stuck. None of it really worked. And I kind of realised a lot of it's because of me. Because I wasn't ever in the same city, county, or country at the same time. And I think that a lot of the way that things have been set up for health and fitness is they're all expecting you to almost have a 9-to-5 job. They're only open at certain hours. You can only do things at certain times in certain places. You've got to be able to prepare your meals, etc. And if you're working hard and you're on the hoof all the time, it's not possible, really. So about 5 years in, I'd lost 10 kilos, which is about 22 pounds, which is not much at all. And the thing is, I felt dreadful as well. Because it's not a case that I just lost that, but I had massive amounts of brain fog. I felt like I had no energy. It was just, I just felt awful about it. But my wife was very kind. She says, well, is it really that much of an issue for you? Because, you're still loved. You've got a great family around you. You've got a great job. You own your own business. You do amazing things for amazing people around the world. She says, so is it, maybe you're okay. And I was kind of at the point of thinking, actually, maybe this is me. But then the flip side of that is I'm not from the best breeding stock. I mean, if I was a horse or a cow, I would have probably been shot. So I'm being serious. My dad, he's got fibromyalgia, diabetes. He's had cancer several times.
So there's a lot of I was just going to say a lot of things. You're thinking about where it came from. A lot of things were coming like against you in a sense. You're like, oh, they deal with this now. I might have this. I got to deal with So that kind of weighs you down a little bit when you're thinking about it.
Yeah, my brother, he's 2 years younger than me, and he's already started with these things as well, these non-communicable diseases. Wow. So it's like, at that time, I thought, I'm just, okay, it's going to happen, so let's just enjoy life while we're here. So I just got on with life, just kind of getting on with everything. And then in 2019, in the May of that year, I was doing an event at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Felbridge, which is near Gatwick Airport, just south of London. And a chap was there attending the event, and he said, would you mind if I come and have breakfast with you? I said, sure, no worries, come sit down, we'll have breakfast. I was just sat there with another friend, James. And, when you meet somebody, you think, actually, that guy, he takes care of himself really well. He was incredibly well-dressed, really well-chiseled. He looked like he'd actually been working out and things. And I thought, okay, this is good. And I took the opportunity, as you would, to say, you're obviously a good businessman. How do you make it work in your life? And he says, I wasn't always like this. He says, I used to be quite a large chap as well. And I'm thinking, yeah, right, okay. You've met those people, haven't you? you know, those kind of gym goers, and they kind of put a pound on or something, and the world's a disaster. It's like,
Okay.
Yeah, I've got like a second person to lose here, and yeah. So he said, no, right. He says, really, I was. And I was like, okay. And what he does is he grabs his phone and he opens it up and he's showing us these pictures of himself, and he was quite a chunky chap. And I said, okay, well, how did you do that? How did you manage to get from where you are to where you were to where you are now? And he says, well, I started working with an online coach. So it was a guy who was an ex-bodybuilder. And he said he just worked with him on the mechanic side of things and just then made his lifestyle work around that. I thought, that actually sounds quite interesting. So the best part was, Pete, the chap I was having breakfast with, he goes, he happens to be in this same event because I invited him. So it's like, what a stroke of luck and fate and everything. So I got to meet him, had a good chat with him, and he was very nonchalant about it. He's like, yeah, if you want to work with me, then you chase me up, and I don't need to work with everybody. And I thought, okay, well, let's see if this works. Let's try and get something out of this. And I had a good chat with him, and we started working on a whole variety of things. And then one of the kind of key things working on his mindset, which when you were chatting to Joseph on the last part of the show you had, a lot of what he was saying instantly resonated, because it does. Everything you do, every action that you take, every reaction, wrong action, inaction, everything you do starts in your head, basically. And that's pretty much where we started from. And he said to me, he says, you've got to find what it is that you really value in life, right? And then anchor your own personal change, your own transformation to the highest value. Because until you make it your highest value, then you're not going to change.
That's
I was kind of, yeah. So I was thinking, okay, I kind of get this. It's basically, it's almost like that saying about you've got to be selfish to be selfless. You know, if you don't deal with yourself first, then naturally you're not going to be able to deal with anybody. So it kind of resonated in a number of different ways. And when you think about it, we all do it at some point in life. So, for example, I mean, from working with a lot of my clients at the moment, one of the things I say to them is, are you going on a holiday this year? And many of them go, yeah, of course I'm going on holiday. I says, okay. Are you quite busy as well? Oh, yeah, I'm really busy. Don't have lots of time at all. Okay. And how are you doing? How's cash flow going? Oh, everything's tight, everything's going up. Bills are going up. Energy prices going up. It's all a squeeze. I says, but yet you're going on holiday. So your holiday is such a high value that you're willing to sacrifice some of the time, even though you said you don't have any, and you're willing to sacrifice some of your money, even though you said you don't have any spare, to go on holiday. Why can't you do that with your own health? So yeah, so it kind of put me into that exact same position back then. And we started then working on some of the mechanics of it. And then what I brought to the table was a lot of things like, the scheduling pieces, how to actually make it work when you're away and things, and not necessarily always, because again, he was very much a case of these are the kind of exercises that you do, this is the kind of things that you eat, but then how do you translate that into something to do while you're away? So rather than finding excuses because, you're in a hotel in, I don't know, Dubai or Romania or in Florida even, rather than find an excuse to say, oh, okay, I'm here, I don't have to do it. It's actually saying, okay, how can I make you do it? Even when you're kind of in a basement gym that literally has like a scaffolding bar on the tight to the ceiling and that's it. You then find ways of being more creative and making it work because it becomes your higher value. And then once you started to build these kind of methodologies around yourself so you can make these things happen and you're monitoring what's going on a regular basis, then change starts to happen because little by little it all compounds up. And that's exactly what happened with us. So within the first 3 months, I'd lost 10 kilos, which was the same amount I'd lost in the previous 5 years. Yeah. And then the following 3 months, I'd lost another 6 kilos, which is around about 10, 11 pounds. Yeah. And I was in a position where actually none of my clothes fit. So
I know you're like, you know what? I kind of like this. I'll deal with this. Wow. Martin, that is amazing. I mean, first of all, I just thank you for taking us through your journey of your story, because first of all, I know it gives hope to others. I always tell people when you tell your story, you're like a lighthouse to the world, because now you're flicking that light saying, you know what, I went through this. I was in this position. I felt, bad because I was with my children, and, I'm trying to get on the, and I can't, it could, all that. I know you were probably in your mind like, OMG, this is not this is not good. This is not good at all. And then to the point where you said you were sitting next to your wife and you're looking, I was like, well, wait a minute. Why is my presbyter? This is not going to work. And I think by saying all that, I think all of us has to come to a point in our lives to say enough is enough. And sometimes it takes years to say enough is enough. You just get to the point of, okay, how long are you going to say to yourself, do I really like this? Am I really loving myself in this way? It can be weight. It could be, anything. I mean, all different avenues in your life. So I'm glad you sit there and you found somebody. Like I said, I always say angels around us that bring people to us. And that person came to your life and it got you down that road. And then you started saying, okay, what is my high value in my life? Well, why is my health not? And amazing, Martin. I'm so glad that you all do that, because I feel like that's needed so people can see, okay, let's take that journey and ask yourself that same question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important as well for to show that bit of vulnerability and the way that you actually feel, because I find so many people trying to hide sometimes how that feels, that moment, effectively when things aren't going wrong, and they almost put that brave face on it. It's a bit like in Englishmen, they're definitely the same. It's whenever you say, how things going? Oh, it's not going too bad. Really? Does that mean it's not going well? So it's so, for example, you're trying to infer from some of the comments, and it's because, again, people are not wanting to put out on you. They're not wanting to necessarily share some of those things. So I think it is important sometimes to share that actually life doesn't always go the way you think it's going to go. But actually, there's lots of lessons there. And if you can listen to them and take advice from people, you can make amazing things happen.
Yes. And I'm glad, you just said another I would say the golden nuggets for us. When you say, the things that we go through, it's not going to always be happy and gay, all that, like I tell people, but you learn but I always tell people, you have to tell yourself, am I learning from this? It's one thing to go through and say, okay, I went through it. Oh, well, this is crazy. I don't want to go through this again. But then if you take the time and step back and say, what did I learn from that? What things came out of that can help me, that's getting me to that next level in my life?
Yeah, absolutely. Beyond a measure of doubt. I've got a coach that I've been working with speaking, etc., for many years, and one of his kind of key ones, he says, you win some, you learn some, and it's just your job to decide what you're going to learn out of it.
I love that. You got to make that decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about making that decision in your life of what you're going to do. Are you going to learn from it, or are you going to be? Well, I always tell people, which I had to stop myself a long, long time ago, is the victor. You're going to be a victim, or you're going to be victorious. And so I always pick the victorious, because the victim kind of sucks.
It is so true. So true.
Yeah, because just think about it. You wouldn't be where you are doing what you do now if you just said, nah, that's okay, I'll just stay where I'm at. I mean, people, we do that. So it's up to you to make that decision. And you know what? It's the victory of what you're doing right now. You're not only victory in your own life and with your family, but you're helping so many others achieve that. You're helping so many others. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I really lights me up more than anything else. It's having those messages back when you've done something like that. So, like, for example, I was working with a chap called Phil. He was an amazing project manager. He was doing multi-million transformations and things, really hardworking, really cared for the kind of things he was doing. But it was really taking its toll on him. And the one thing he wanted more than anything else, his kind of key goal, was just to play with his kids. And it's a really simple thing when you think about it. But the thing is, he was finding himself being tired. He was grumpy, had no energy. He was starting to get more portally. All those kind of things kind of add up over time. So for him, just working and actually working a few things out. One was we kind of started to police his Haribo habits. We got his kids to do that. They thought it was great. You know, every time we went near the jelly sweets, he'd be like, "Dad's going for the Haribo," and that made a game out of it. So it made it a bit of fun. And the things like when he started to control and look at his nutritional input and things, and actually trying to work out how we can make himself better, he suddenly had a massive effect over the entire family as well. Because straight away they started to notice things like portion control. They've probably been having a little bit too much of the pasta and things, and they noticed, for example, they were having lots of takeaways and things, or meals out, which again were not necessarily helping their cause. So not only did this kind of help Phil in what he was doing, but it kind of perpetuated down throughout the rest of his family. But as I say, the best bit was when I got the first text message from him saying, what was it? It was, "I've just done the monkey bars with my son."
Oh,
yeah. So you know the ones where you're going like this, or
yeah.
And that was just fabulous. And now I get text messages regularly from him saying, "I've just taken him on this bike ride here, or I've been cycling there." So most weekends now he's out there with his kids, just enjoying life and being out and just being active. And that's just absolutely fantastic to be part of that.
Wow. I know you just, I know it's like, you know, you see them texting you and it's just, it warms your heart to see, you know, where he went from one extreme to the next in his life. And now he's doing what he wanted to do, and he's playing with his children and being with his children and feel comfortable with it. Wow. I know.
So, yeah.
Now I know. I was just thinking about you now. Now, you know, since then, Florida, you know, the ride, you had some, you know, challenges with that. Now, have you been back since and kind of just went on all the rides and was like, okay, let's just do this?
No, but I probably need to do that at some point. My kids have grown up a fair bit since then, so not entirely sure they're too keen on going out with Dad quite as much as they did back then.
So I might have to. Well, maybe when they come with, I know they're not probably, I don't know how, if they're teenagers, right? So I was thinking that, you know, once they have their children and stuff, then you can, you'll be like, okay, we can have a lot of fun now because I'm good. No more challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. My youngest lad has just turned 21, literally like a week or two back. So yeah, so, and he does have a lovely girlfriend as well. So yeah, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, maybe a few more years. Let them enjoy life for a bit first.
Yeah. I always tell the young people, I call them, you know, the wonderful youth. I tell them, please take your time. Don't rush too much. Enjoy life, and even when you're together as a couple, enjoy each other. Don't just, you know, yeah. But it's nice that that you can sit back and just say, you know what, some challenges that I had, they're not challenged anymore, and I took the time to say, let me get this together. Let me see what I need to do. And again, being a role model, because you're a role model and a leader, not just a coach in what you do in the health arena. Because when people see what you do, I always tell people, if you're going to be telling people or suggesting to people, let me say, I hate to say telling, but suggesting to people what they can do in their lives, then you have to be the first one to do it. Because I tell people, they're gonna kind of, the credibility is there. It's like, okay, well, if you're telling me to do this, but then you're doing something opposite of what you told me, but you've done it and you've proven it. So why not go and work with you? And I'm leading to that because of the audience, to let them know that if they, you know, have any of those challenges in their life, be it the health wise and anything in the weight and all that kind of stuff, please reach out to King Martin. You see that he knows his thing. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It is all about that congruence, really, and being congruent in who you are and what you're doing, and the message that you give past. And a lot of people that I've worked with as clients now and friends, they do that because they can see, actually, I've been through that. I've got the battle scars. I know what it feels like as a father, as a busy business owner, as an international consultant and stuff. So it's really interesting. I was having an interview. Was it Monday? Yeah, it was Monday this week. Losing track of time already. And one of the things they came out with is, you know, a lot of people have got the excuse that, you know, they're traveling a lot and therefore they can't deal with health and fitness. And I just said, I love that. That's great. You know, at the height back in 2019, when I was going through that first piece, I lost like 40 kilograms over that first year, which is what 2.2 pounds per kilogram. So that's I can't do the math. 88 pounds. Yeah. So that's in the first year. During that year, I was literally only home around about 5 or 6 days a month. That was it. And the rest of the time I was everywhere else. And if I could do that then, right, there's no excuses for people. Anybody can do it, which is brilliant, because then when people come out with these great excuses, yeah, I love that one. Yeah, that's what I used to do. Apart from the fact that I don't do it anymore. And then
You can point them out, right? Yeah, I used to do that. I used to say that.
yeah, that's where when people say, "Oh, you had 5 years to actually find something that works," I says, "Yeah, it's brilliant, because then I know those 5 years that you guys aren't going to spend or have problems, because that's the bits that I've already done for you."
I like that. I like how you twisted. That was good.
You don't need to make all those mistakes. Just avoid the fat burning coffee. You'll be okay.
You said that's why I'm here to tell you don't do it. Wow, King Martin. Well, this has been a pleasure, such a pleasure. This, like I said, this has warmed my heart today, having you and the other King on earlier, just to really, just embrace us within what we need to do in our lives, and just encouragement, and to know that you're out there, and other coaches and educators that are willing to help, because they see, you see more than, sometimes you see beyond what we see. And that's what you need. And as a coach, I think that's really important, is why you're saying, I don't know, Martin, I don't know if I could do this. I've been trying to lose this weight for years, but then you already see that, no, I know you can. And let's give you some tools to get you there. Yeah. So wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
And you can be objective as a coach as well, where sometimes you might be not quite as objective when you do it for yourself, including myself. I continue to have a coach just simply because he keeps me on track. He sees the things that I don't see myself, and he also makes me do the things that I wouldn't necessarily would like to do myself, because I don't like them.
I was about to say, yeah, they'll kick your. Well, I'm going to say this in a nice way. Yeah, coaches will sit there and kick your butt when you need it.
Yeah. Kick when it's needed and cuddle at the other times. Yes, absolutely.
But love kicks.
Yeah.
Love kicks. So, Martin, I wanted I want to take myself down just for 30 seconds and just give any lasting thoughts to the audience, and then we'll come back up and they can say how they can contact you. I'll be right back.
Yeah, welcome. So I think one of the key questions that always comes up to me is things like, for example, what would be my ideal way? What should I be aiming for? How should I actually make this work for me? And the one kind of key thing I recommend to people is aim for happy. If you can aim to be happy, if you can actually put yourself into a place where actually your life helps you be able to achieve things, you'll find lots of open doors, including that of your physiology. Because you could have the best nutrition plan, you could have the best exercise plan, but actually, if you're not happy, if you're stressed, overwhelmed, in your position where actually you're not going to be in a good place where you can rest, then your body's still going to keep breaking down, and it will not make the progress towards the goals that you might be looking for. If that's either like a fat loss goal, it might be a muscle building goal, or even just a case of being healthier, happier, and having a great lifestyle. So my wish for you all is happiness. Have absolute great happiness for the rest of this year and the rest of your lives.
Thank you so much, King Martin. I really appreciate you. And I know the audience does too. And just to let everybody know that, we play this live every Friday for the Coaches Lounge for my name, Barbara Beckley. But I always do it's on YouTube channel. It's under E360 TV. I have a lot of streaming areas this is being streamed to. So what I'm saying is that this is on a record. This is the recording after this. So there's no reason why people are like, well, I missed it. I didn't get to see the Kings. I didn't get to hear what they had to say. Well, there's no excuse. It's on the YouTube channels. It's everywhere here, because I wanted to make sure you get to learn and know these wonderful coaches that are changing, that are world changers for you and I. So, Martin, I welcome you again, sir. Thank you so much for giving up some of your time this afternoon for you, morning for me, Phil.
I can tell you, you've got a great day ahead, so don't worry. It's already planned for you.
Oh, thank you. I needed to hear that, because I'm going to be speaking in the next hour and a half at a conference, so I needed that. So thank you so much. So I welcome you back anytime. If you want, introduce anything that you're doing in your world, you are always welcome to the Coaches Lounge with myself.
Thank you very much, Barbara. It's been a pleasure being here. It's been really good fun.
You take care.
You too. Bye for now.
When
Enjoy
you
your
do
conference.
nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.